Hello everybody and welcome to Political Bite number 163, dated January 21st, 2021. I'm Walter, your mobile historian and blue-collar scholar. This Political Bite is entitled, What Will Become of Mike Pence? Now, as a moderate Democrat, you're probably asking me, well, why do you care what becomes of Mike Pence? Former President Trump's vice president. Well, the reason I'm concerned, so to speak, is because Mike Pence was nothing like Donald Trump, in my humble opinion. Unlike Trump, Pence, was seemingly a very decent, approachable, mild-mannered guy who arguably, at least before he became Trump's vice president, and what happened on January 6th, 2021, Pence arguably had a bright political future ahead of him. But ever since the events of January 6th, aka the MAGA terrorist attack on the U.S. Capitol building, Pence's political future seems a little less secure, and indeed, so does his popularity. Right now, as it stands, Mike Pence is kind of a guy without a broad base. In other words, a specific group who would embrace him. The people who are pro-Trump would think he is too distant from Trump. And the people who are anti-Trump would likely think that the former vice president is too close to Trump. Pence, for sure, did indeed compromise his own convictions and values many times over the course of the Trump presidency to defend a man who, at the end, would throw him under the bus because he refused to obstruct our constitutional system. Now, Trump's view of loyalty is very one-sided, as we all know, okay? He would want you to be loyal to him, but he can throw you under the bus at any point and then still expect you to be loyal. He doesn't realize it doesn't work that way. But nevertheless, enough about Trump. Back to Pence. Mike Pence originally, given Trump's loss, had the events of January 6th not happened, would have probably been seen as the Republican forerunner for the 2024 nomination if Trump himself decided not to run. Again, things have happened. Given the events on January the 6th, Trump's quite possible conviction on his second impeachment, he may not be able to ever again run for any federal office. So that would seemingly place Mike Pence even further up along the ladder to the 2024 nomination. But again, because of those events, Pence's popularity with Trump's base is all but shot. Indeed, when the vandals attacked the Capitol building, the terrorists attacked the Capitol building, they wanted Pence more than anyone, okay? So he has no love whatsoever from Trump supporters. And while the left, I would say, doesn't have any, in my opinion, much animosity toward Pence, okay, moderate Republicans are not likely to support him, all right? Because they would view him nonetheless, even though he certainly distanced himself from Trump towards the end more than ever, they would still see him as too close to Trump, okay? So if the former Vice President of the United States, Mike Pence, has a political future, it probably will not be at the national level, all right? It isn't even crystal clear whether or not he will return to his home state of Indiana, all right? Who knows what the future holds for Mr. Pence. But in any case, I think that if he chooses not to return to politics, history will vindicate him, even if it was at the end, where he finally stood up and distanced himself from the dismal dumpster fire of the Trump presidency and actually led himself, all right, led the country indirectly himself when Trump refused to do the job any longer, you know, at the end when he, you know, caused a terrorist attack on our Capitol building. So, but it's not all about me. I'm interested in, even if you are not, you know, a Republican, like I said, I'm a moderate Democrat, but I'm interested in what Pence's future may hold. What do you think Mike Pence might aspire to politically in the future? As a former vice president, like I said, it's quite possible he still may attempt a run for the presidency. And if he does do so, I think he would certainly be among the crowd of Republicans that would be trying to take the party to its pre-Trump ideologies, okay? And that means, you know, he will be working to bring moderates, more and more moderates into his fold, okay? But indeed, like I said, we shall see. For the record, Joe Biden is the first vice president to become president of the United States since George Herbert Walker Bush did in 1989. Keep in mind, he was Ronald Reagan's vice president for 8 years, okay? So, you know, even though Biden sat a term out before he ultimately ran for the presidency, that may well be what Pence also does. Sit this term out and then make a bid for the presidency in 2024, all right? If Pence is, you know, works very hard at it and, you know, does a darn good job at distancing himself from the radical right-wing Trump segment of the Republican Party, who knows? He may actually make some headway. And although I personally would support virtually whatever Democratic candidate ran in 2024, assuming they are trying to advance agendas that I support, you know, I would still wish Pence a good race in the fight, even though I think we'd still, as Democrats, bury the Republican contender in 2024. So again, I want to know what you think will become politically a former Vice President Mike Pence. All right, if you want to share, I'd appreciate it. If you have any questions or controversies, leave them down below and I'll be happy to answer them. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, just hit that little red subscribe button and we'll be in business. Thanks so much for listening. Take care, stay safe out there, and I'll talk to you at the next bite. Peace.